Giraffe Talk. We're going to be talking about Saudi Arabia. We're going to be talking about government bullshit. We're going to be talking about misdeeds on the internet. And we're going to be talking about the death of Charlie Kirk and the after effects of it. You're watching TV.
What topics are in the news?
Breaking news. Suspect is still on the run.
The victim remains in critical.
We will explain how it affects you and expert sources indicate.
The story is still developing. The reports still remain unconfirmed.
They're calling it Kino.
Rapture prophesied by TikTok has came and passed. I guess none of us made a cut. None of us got into heaven. A streamer by the name of Rastaland TV was recently scammed out of $30,000. It's already terrible, but it's all the more tragic because that man was suffering from cancer. The game was entitled Block Blasters. It was malware disguised as a video game, which seems to be a reoccurring problem on Steam. Luckily, the community came together and raised money for Rastaland TV. It's an unfolding case. We got an alternative musician named David. The body of a teenager was found dismembered in his Tesla vehicle. Although he's currently on tour, he has been cooperative with law enforcement. He's not considered a suspect. Of course, David should be considered innocent until proven guilty. We should dive deeper into his history, his music, his internet presence, prior comments made. He almost definitely has been in a relationship with Celeste Hernandez. Whether he is a murderer remains to be determined, but just all the little clues and hints he's given. A lot of comedians are facing criticism for attending a comedy event in Saudi Arabia. This is right after the Saudi Arabian royal family has bought EA Games, a video game publishing company. Interestingly, Bill Burr, who's famously anti-billionaire, has accepted the offer. Pete Davis, whose father died in the 9/11 attacks, has accepted the offer as well. However, some comedians such as Shane Gillis has turned down the opportunity. Yvonne has reportedly completely bombed at a taping of his next Netflix special. Is this a case of him relapsing on drugs? Did he just have a bad day? Is the pressure finally hitting him? Or are podcast comedians not as funny when doing stand-up? Ryan Roof, who attempted to assassinate President Trump, has been found guilty on 7 convictions. However, Luigi Mangione has had his terrorism charge dropped. RFK has announced that Tylenol causes autism. Although women always have to be careful of what they ingest during pregnancy, there doesn't seem to be an actual mechanical connection between Tylenol and autism at this time. The White House has also released a video with the Pokemon theme song, Gotta Catch Them All, as ICE rounds up illegal immigrants. Trump and Pete Hegseth have ordered over 800 generals and admirals to attend the meeting. From what we can tell, it's mostly about PT standards in the military. Some critics have mentioned that some of the comments hint towards martial law, doing military practices in cities, and downsizing the military overall. After cutting federal funding to 18 different states that voted blue in the last election, Trump has announced that he will cut funding to New York if they elect Zohran Mamdani. It looks like we're in for another government shutdown. Republicans are blaming the Democrats for not signing a budget plan that would cut all healthcare funding to trans people. Finally, Donald Trump has threatened to cut all military protective support to Taiwan, then they'll move 50% of their chip manufacturing facilities to the United States. This doesn't seem to be an easy task, as the infrastructure, sanitation, the facilities, and the resources for microchips cannot be easily relocated to another nation on the other side of the world. Or whatever. Now this next topic is so controversial, so divisive, so explosive, so volatile, I can't even have a guest speak on it with me. This is, of course, the assassination of Charlie Kirk. This is Giraffe Productions.
Let's analyze this news story. The assassination of Charlie Kirk.
December 10th of 2025, Tyler Robinson decided to skip his electrical apprentice program at Dixie Technical College. Instead, hop in his silver Dodge Challenger and drive to Utah Valley University. He was then sighted walking across the campus with a bag in his hands and a change of clothing. At 12:23, a shot rang out and a bullet hit Charlie Kirk in the neck in front of his own daughter. Although he was pulled from the stage and wasn't pronounced dead until an hour later, it's very, very unlikely that he even survived the impact. Afterwards, Tyler Robinson was seen crossing the campus without a bag in his hand and then disappeared. It was later found text messages towards his transgender girlfriend that he considered this a huge mistake. He was afraid it may be a serial number on a rifle or that his parents were asked for it. 2 people received accusations that they were involved in the shooting, but they were later cleared. At first, no one suspected Tyler Robinson, although his friends on Discord joked about similarities between him and the alleged shooter. But it wasn't until his father saw the images that he realized that his son, in fact, did assassinate Charlie Kirk. He confronted his son, called the bishop of his church for advice, and eventually convinced him to turn himself in to a neighboring sheriff. Before he turned himself in, Tyler broke the news to his Discord friends and asked for their forgiveness. Since then, Lance Twiggs has been cooperative with the police, but Tyler himself has not made any comments. Although most people remained silent for a few days, social media influencers, political pundits, and commentators started making their own assessments, and people realized, fuck it, I better make an opinion. A lot of far-left liberals rejoiced in the death of Charlie Kirk, although they stated that there's no way that Tyler Robinson himself was a liberal. So you're telling me, you and your friends are happy that Charlie Kirk died, but you don't think the shooter was a liberal? A lot of far-right conservatives said it's time for a civil war or an authoritarian government. They tried communicating with the Democrats, and all that happened is that someone got shot. Beating Paul Pelosi with a hammer was kind of bad. Shooting congressmen was pretty bad as well. But killing Charlie Kirk, a podcaster and political commentator, was too far. It's time to declare a civil war. However, most politically conscious moderate people thought it was a tragedy, especially since his family was in attendance. If you disagreed with Charlie Kirk's beliefs, this was the perfect opportunity to debate him, to make him look cringe, to make his fans think he's gay. But the rest of everyone had one burning question on their mind. Who the fuck was Charlie Kirk?
Who the fuck is Charlie Kirk?
On October 14th of 1993, Charlie Kirk was born. He was raised in the Arlington Heights and Prospect Heights suburban neighborhoods. Eventually, he attended 1 semester at Harper Community College before dropping out to focus on his political career. He was one of the co-founders of Turning Point USA. He published several books and hosted the Charlie Kirk Show. Most famously, he had his college campus debates, where he would invite people to attend the events and debate him on various controversial subjects. He always stated that disagreement is a healthy part of our system, and that the conversation was necessary. Many people know Charlie Kirk from the memes, the Change My Mind debate table, the teeth, the gums, the South Park episode. He was also considered a close ally to Trump and helped him pick out several of his cabinet members. Many people say that Charlie Kirk is the voice of the contemporary Republican, and he changed the party into the MAGA party it is today. A lot of people say his beliefs aren't even extreme, they're just that of the average Republican. If this is the case, what the fuck is wrong with Tyler Robinson?
What the fuck is wrong with Tyler Robinson?
Because Tyler Robinson was antisocial, there's not a lot that we can confirm about him. But what we can glean from his friends, his family, his neighbors, and just by the way he fucking looks, is that he was a furry, he was a gamer, he dated a transgender woman known as Lance Twiggs, and he was considered the black sheep of his family, although they still financially supported him. We do know in adulthood, his social career was mostly on his Discord servers. He was raised in a very conservative household, had a 4.0 GPA, and was considered to be on the right path of life until about 2020, when his personal beliefs started changing to more of a liberal mindset. This was exacerbated after he moved in with his roommate, Lance Twiggs. A lot of people said that they were very anti-conservative, very anti-religion afterwards. However, they weren't complete libtards. They had a sense of humor about themselves, they joked about some liberal beliefs, but they were very sincere when it came to the topic of transgender rights.
Conspiracy.
Like most assassinations with large media coverage, there's many conspiracies around the Charlie Kirk murder. Was it Mossad? Charlie Kirk has recently become publicly critical of the Israeli government and the United States support of their action, particularly in the Gaza Strip. Was Tyler Robinson conservative? Charlie Kirk has long since had a rivalry with the Nick Fuentes Groypers. They feel like Charlie Kirk isn't quite extreme enough in his beliefs. He's not a true conservative, not a true Republican. Mainly, this is based on the fact that he likes to debate his opponents and come to some kind of consensus. Some people also point to the comments made directly after his death. Stephen Miller pushing for more of an authoritarian government, a crackdown on opposing beliefs. Or Laura Loomer saying that Donald Trump needs to finally become the dictator that he's accused of being. Was he used as a martyr? Did the Republican Party need their own Martin Luther King, their Harvey Milk, the John F. Kennedy? Now there's this prevailing narrative that the right doesn't shoot. There's some liberals that are the problem. And maybe we should suspend the Second Amendment for them. This is despite conservative shooters such as Eric Robert Rudolph, John T. Ernest, Robert Bowers, Patrick Crusius, Dylan Roof, Thomas Jacob Sanford, the Charlottesville Unite the Right race riots, and of course the January 6th protests turned riots. With the display that he had, such as flying his body on Air Force Two, J.D. Vance being one of the pallbearers, him hosting the Charlie Kirk show, Trump trying to fuck Erica Kirk, the fireworks, the AI tribute videos. It does seem like they're trying to make sure that his death is burned into the public consciousness. Or was Tyler Robinson just a far-left liberal? You think about some of the statements that Charlie Kirk has made, such as modern-day black culture is hurting the black community. Islam is a danger to the United States. Israel has too much influence in the United States government. Indian immigrant workers are taking jobs from skilled American laborers. That Charlie Kirk has made statements that he was anti-abortion, anti-DEI. Felt like people were trying to fill a diversity quota rather than hiring the most capable individual. He was critical of the civil rights movement. He's also strongly against LGBT positive legislation. So there's a lot of potential reasons why a far-left radical liberal may want to take out Charlie Kirk. What's more than likely is that Tyler Robinson was brain-rotted by the internet. Just judging from some of the messages on his shell casings, like notice his bulge, woo woo. If you can read this, you're gay, Lamo. What kind of person puts this on a shell casing when they're about to assassinate somebody? It seems like they don't quite understand reality. Probably have some romanticized idea that he was a super spy fighting for the American freedoms and equality. But it makes me wonder, how did we get to this point? How is this nation so fundamentally ill? I think a lot of it has to do with political polarization.
Political polarization.
Now, in 1992, after Ross Perot's surprising success in the election, with him gaining 19% of the popular vote, I think it really scared the Democrat and Republican parties. In reaction to this, they pushed the idea that you're either with us or against us. Not only that, to get the disaffected voters, the ones that are dissatisfied with their lives, and they convince them your vote doesn't mean anything. Never mind that they spend millions on campaign. Never mind that they try every trick in the book to rig the elections. Your vote doesn't matter. Don't worry about voting. Either you're an equality-loving Democrat, or you're some racist, fascist, neo-Nazi Klan member. Either you're a freedom-loving Republican, or you're an insane communist Democrat whose only goal is to erode and demolish structure of the United States. Now, with every generation, we need a new form of propaganda. The prior ones no longer work. So with millennials and Gen Z, they had to focus on social media echo chambers, bots, algorithms, and charismatic podcast hosts who can mold the minds and the political beliefs of the youth. Now, while they do this, they have to dehumanize their opponents. This is why people are willing to cut people off, such as family members, friends, and co-workers, just for having a different opinion on how the government should govern. And eventually this made people realize that maybe political violence is okay. Now this is the reason why people may cheer on this political violence but never want to claim that the shooter is their party. That's why they make them pass these political party. This is why they try to make the shooters pass these political purity tests. Despite them not wanting to claim these shooters, it seems like some people are frothing at their mouths for a civil war. A civil war in the United States will harm the entire world's economy, as we're the largest importers. Our infrastructure will be destroyed. All of us will lose some friends or family. It will take decades for us to rebuild this nation. And although your opinions may vary on whether or not the United States should have our hegemonic empire, where we kind of rule the world through implied violence, you got to think about the power vacuum that's going to be left behind. Who's going to fill it? Brazil, China, Russia? I think all of them are terrible alternatives for the rest of humanity. And why would we even want this? Just to make some billionaires, trillionaires? I feel like there's a little bit more to why people desire a civil war. You think about it. Before then, people wanted a zombie apocalypse. Then they wanted a purge day. Now they want to go and beat the shit out of Mr. George from work just because you think he might be homophobic. Or they want to shoot their neighbor just because he has a trans flag in their yard. How do we get to this point? I think a lot of it's like when a kid was losing a game of Monopoly. You're not having any fun anymore. The rent keeps coming, the taxes keep coming, your ass is going to jail again. you don't own any property, you gave up on the shit a long time ago, and eventually you're just like, fuck it! I don't want to play this game anymore. Screw you guys, I'm going home. And you kick over the whole goddamn board on the way out.